Now we're going live. All right. Hello and welcome everyone to another installment of Sunday Night Klooby Snack Time. What's up, Abby? Hey, Charlie, how are you? Right off the top, we need to make sure that everybody knows that it's Super Bowl Sunday here in the United States. And so we've all been having a good time. And this is going to be a very brief session. We're not in our normal surroundings. We went to a friend's house and we're here at the friend's house. And the show must go on, right? We've talked about this, Abby. You got more experience with this than I do. In theater, right? The show must go on, professionalism. Yep. Talk about that for a second. I'll create a banner for tonight's Klooby Snack.
What?
The show must, the whole concept of the show must go on.
You want me to talk about it? So I can, like, my volume's all the way down so it doesn't echo.
No, we can hear you fine. You're good.
Okay. But sorry, what was the question? Like, I can't hear.
Well, here's the thing. We're in a different environment tonight. We're not in the normal environment, the comfortable environment of my home office or your bedroom, right? We're literally at a Super Bowl party that's wrapping up right now. So there's moving parts and people have been having, well, I have been having adult beverages and right. So I just thought I would kick it over to you for a minute to talk about the idea of professionalism and that the show must go on because I want to create a banner for this week's Klooby Snack and I want to get ready to screen share the actual PDF of the book. You've got a copy in your hands, don't you? All right, there we go. So go ahead, take it away. We're talking about Klooby Snacks. Go ahead, Abby.
The show must go on?
Well, yeah, or whatever you want to say. Hey, Charlie, we see you.
Hi, Charlie. I'm talking about the show. Sorry, I have so many. I can hear you and I can hear you on here.
Good morning.
Yeah, because we don't have our headsets, so let's just make do. We're good. It's okay. Let's just be comfortable with the situation that we're in. I think we're doing fine so far.
Okay. Am I talking?
Well, no. So you're getting ready to do a show, and
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of times where like there's been shows where like my voice has been completely gone before a show, or like my body's just super tired, or there's all these things, and it's like there's never an option to like be like, oh, we just won't go on today. It's like how much chicken noodle soup can I drink before I go on, or like I won't talk all day before I go on. It's like it's never like, oh, well, like, can somebody else do it, or like, let's just not do it. It's like always like, what can we do to make it work? So this is one of those things, and we're doing it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to. Yeah, that's it. It's like,
sorry, I was gonna answer. I just couldn't hear you because I hear too much of you right now. I'm hearing you from my phone, and it was overwhelming. Sorry.
Yeah, well, one of the things, and this is a good test. This is part of the fabric of what we're doing with Klooby Snacks. Keep holding the book up, by the way, because by now everybody out there knows that Klooby Snacks is a book, and it's got four categories, which we call flavors or baker's dozens, and it's my motivational quotes and Abigail's responses to them. And tonight is going to be Klooby Snack number 6, and we're on our way there. And we're in the section of loving flavored Klooby Snacks. But when we move on in the year, we're going to get to ego flavored, discipline flavored, and integrity flavored. So tonight is Klooby Snack number 6. And I'm about to introduce it and let Abby read her response, her journal style response to the Klooby Snack. And that's the magic of this whole project. But we're just, we're committed to coming online live every week and doing a live stream to read. So it doesn't matter if this is what I'm trying to say. It's like, done is better than perfect, or authentic is better than artificial, or we are where we are. We're surrounded by love. There's moving parts. There's people that have been enjoying themselves. It's Super Bowl Sunday, but you and I are here and we are committed. The show must go on. Now, the show doesn't have to be perfect. The show doesn't have to be like last week's show or next week's show, but we got to read the snack and let you read your response. That's where we're at. Show must go on. So we're trying to capture that. Let me honor the time that Charlie has taken to join us today and welcome him. Charlie, how are you, my friend? And do you have anything to ask or share before we get started with reading the Klooby Snack and Abigail's response to it? Charlie, can you hear it? There you go.
Good morning, Coach Jeff. Yes. Good morning or good evening to you guys. It's good to be here, as always, and to learn and see explore what Abby's insights are on Klooby Snacks.
All right. Well, perfect. We are here. Let's roll then. All right, let me go ahead and switch to a layout that
Simply hanging
there we
there.
go. Everybody's got equal screen share. So let me just say we're in the loving flavored category. And as a matter of review, Klooby Snack number 1 was when you have to keep it all together, love is the best adhesive. We talked about that in the very first week of the year. Then the second week, I still can't believe how heavy this Klooby Snack is, compared to how early it appears in the book. But here it is. I will always love you more than I will ever miss you. Really challenging our capacity for love, our willingness to be vulnerable when it's time to lose in some way, shape, or form people that really mean something to us. What a heavy Klooby Snack. That was fascinating. Klooby Snack number 3. This is a fun one for me. If it were up to me, it would be called profrontation, playing on the wordsmithing of, we associate pros with positives and cons with negatives, but there's so many times that a positive word starts with con and a negative word starts with pro. Isn't that fun to play around in, right? So without getting into too much detail, that was fun. And then 2 weeks ago, we talked about Klooby Snack number 4. I would rather fail. And Abby, you were so brilliant. And this is like one of the undercurrents of the whole project is how much I learned and how much I defer and how much I make room for how much smarter Abby is than I am. And this was one of them. I would rather fail in my commitment to loving than succeed in my commitment to suffering. When this was originally written, it was I would rather fail in my commitment to laughing than succeed in my commitment to suffering. And Abigail was like, no, Dan, there's just, it's not right. And she challenged me to find a better word. And like, she helped me be more vulnerable and go all the way to loving on this one. And that's why it fits so well in this chapter. So absolute props to Abigail on Klooby Snack number 4. Now, Klooby Snack number 5, which is last week we talked about, which is it takes as much confidence to be led as it does to lead. Right? Huge conversation. Are leaders born? Are they made? What is leadership? What are the qualities of leadership? Can everybody be a leader? But a huge conversation, but that gets us to where we are today, which is Klooby Snack number 6, when possible. Right? Did I say it properly, Abigail? When I'm going to screen share in a minute, but before we read the actual what replace questions with statements, right? Is that accurate?
No.
On the screen? No, I screwed it up.
Nope.
All right, I'm going to go to screen share and I'm going to bring up Klooby Snacks on the PDF.
That is not right.
What was that?
It's replace statements with questions.
Replace statements with questions. I did it wrong.
Yep.
Doesn't surprise me. All right, I'm going to edit it then. So let me hear you say it, Abigail. Go ahead. When possible, what?
When possible, replace statements with
questions. Of course. I was going too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just, there it is, right? So this is interesting, right? That's the Klooby Snack. There it is. And we're going to add the banner. Come on, add the banner, please. Oh, there's save. And then show the banner. All right, when possible, replace statements with questions. And I capitalized questions. I'm just going to say this briefly, and then I'm going to let you turn it over to you, Abby, to read your response to this. A statement is a press upon. When we state, we press upon. When we ask a question, it's an invitation. I'll stop there. I'm going to turn it over to you, Abby. Go ahead.
Okay. In my sophomore year, I wrote a paper on the power of preconceived notions. At the time, as a 15-year-old girl navigating through high school, I could physically feel the weight of judgments on my shoulders. I would often hear things about myself that were untrue from the mouths of people I had never spoken to. I felt so powerless, with rumors and judgment holding more power over me than my own words or actions did. Before I even had the opportunity to make a first impression on someone, they already had a pre-first impression, one that I had no role in. I used my frustration to help me write, basing my paper on the power that preconceived notions had on a society and its groups. Through writing said paper, I realized I wasn't as innocent as I had thought. Preconceived judgments are not always intentional. Often, actually, they form completely unintentionally. Making assumptions is not a crime, and it is rather completely natural. We hear something about someone, and our natural response is to believe it. It doesn't take effort to believe what we hear or see. It does take effort, however, to not believe what we hear. How does one do that? I hear all the readers asking question in unison. I'll tell you. Ask questions. Instead of saying, I can't believe so-and-so did X, Y, and Z, say, I wonder what caused so-and-so to do X, Y, and Z. A slight change in punctuation opens room for curiosity, which was before occupied by judgment. Asking questions, being curious enough to want to learn more, is how you beat judgments. Judgments are a powerful force, especially the preconceived ones. The force that will always overpower judgments, however, is curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. There's people in our ecosystem right here. Yeah. And so like you're getting for those of you that are out there that are maybe watching online or maybe watching a recording of this, there's like a live studio audience here of Super Bowl partiers that are cleaning up, shuffling and checking it out and managing the kids and enjoying their adult beverages as I am, apparently speaking. And Abby, my goodness. I mean, there's so much there. I get choked up and I think we're still screen sharing. And it's like, here's what's fun about this project. There's so many things that are fun about this project, right? But one of them is like, you're responding to my Klooby Snacks, but guess what? In your responses to my Klooby Snacks, new Klooby Snacks emerge. So if I may, I'm going to invite the live studio audience and you, Charlie, to yes or no, like these deserve to be Klooby Snacks in and of themselves. One of them is, I think is this what we
And it doesn't take effort to believe it.
This is it right here. Like, my goodness, Abigail. Hey, everyone. It doesn't take effort to believe what we hear or see. It does take effort, however, to not believe what we hear, right? So what you're talking about, I'm going to stop sharing now and bring us all into full screen. You're talking about critical thinking. We're talking about not just accepting information on face value. It's amazing, Abigail, that you're talking about being a receiver of information, right? And I'm talking, the Klooby Snack is born out of being a producer of information. So like, we've really got our arms around something special here. Now, I know that we wanted to be brief because we've been enjoying ourselves and we've been socializing and we're out of our element. We still got to drive home, etc. But there's a rich conversation here to be had that I just want to at least honor Charlie for taking the time to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning in South Africa time. And Charlie, you've seen what we've had to share from the author of the Klooby Snack, right? When possible, replace statements with questions, because a statement is a press upon and a question is an invitation. We can already understand the value there. But then when Abigail's talking about receiving information in either the form of statements or questions, there's your bookends, and that's what you have to comment on. Charlie, let me honor the time that you took to be here with us today and ask you, what do you have to offer or share tonight?
Good morning again, Coach Jeff. It's always good to be here. Jumping out of bed at 6 to learn. As you know me, I'm very keen on learning. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for not making it last week. We've done
there's not necessary. We're live streaming right now, so we're focused on content.
As I was reading this Klooby Snack, it's like you read my mind. It doesn't take effort to believe what we hear or see. It does take effort, however, not to believe what we hear. And I actually went like, whoa, is that a Klooby Snack within a Klooby Snack? Is Abby getting into the rhythm of writing her own Klooby Snacks?
Yep.
Coach Jeff, as you know, I'm a power networker, and then you get to an event and somebody has probably met someone somewhere, and it's this one said that. And I'd always go, oh no, that's good. I'm actually interested to know why he had to say that and what was your response to it. It just clears it up, like to get them to speak a bit more. But I don't really care what the first person had said. I'm more interested in what you have to say, since we've met each other now, and how do you compare what was said and what you are witnessing.
Is that a question for me or for Abigail, first of all?
It's a statement and a question,
Oh, here we go. Yeah, you're playing with the snack. Nice. You're like getting your fingers dirty. Abigail, first for you, because I've got something prepared that I want to screen share. But Abigail, do you want to respond to what Charlie? I think you probably have a better insight to what Charlie's saying than I do, actually.
No, I was gonna say that you go first, and then I was gonna respond after.
All right, there we go. It works out either way. Charlie, let me invite you, right? Because here's what happens, right? You have so much effusive love, like there's so much like coming out, right? And so I'm going to invite you to, in one question, ask one question without background, without qualifying. We heard all of that. But what's the one question you want me to answer for you or Abigail to answer for you? In just one question, without qualifying it, without background.
Oh, that one's a bit of a tough one.
Right.
I'd actually
Wait. This is the funny part. You think it's hard asking it? Imagine how hard it is answering it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and screen share what I wanted to share, which I'm going to play on what you did share with us, right? Snacks within snacks. I heard you say that, Charlie. We're all listening. We're all watching Abby. We're all cheering for Abby. We're all seeing what's going to, like, oh my goodness, right? We've talked about this over the weeks. Like, Coach Jeffrey, I've been around the world and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people, or, you know what I mean? I've coached in all these different countries. And what's this amazing girl going to get from Coach Jeffrey once she gets past the dad thing? And right. And now it's like one of the possibilities that we can see is Klooby Snacks within Klooby Snacks, right? So I have one more queued up that I think it's just absolutely Klooby Snacks. I'm just going to bring it up. Abigail, this is brilliant to me. Making assumptions is not a crime. All right. So this is the last thing I care to speak about tonight and unpack and unravel, because like this is the second example of a Klooby Snack within the Klooby Snack, or that shows up in your responses. I think this stands alone. I think this is a Klooby Snack, and I didn't author it. This is you, Abby. This is what I love about this so much, by the way, is what I'm trying to do in my career, in my work, is to make accountability non-threatening. And I'm trying to get, like, people pay me money for that. And like, it doesn't always work in my family, right? And I need more accountability from my family at a lot of things, right? But what I'm trying to get at here is this Klooby Snack. Making assumptions is not a crime. So often we're told not to assume. As a matter of fact, there's a funny and well-known saying that assuming is making an ass out of you and me when you look at the spelling of assume, A-S-S-U-M-E, right? So this is like a commonly understood thing. Don't assume, don't make assumptions, don't judge, don't prejudge. But you're smacking that in the face. And I need to ask you about this. To me, I think this is the most brilliant piece of your response. Can you talk to us about, do you believe that you're making accountability non-threatening when you say this? Are you letting people off the hook? Are you validating people so that they're now invited into a real conversation about the truth? I think it's brilliant. I want to hear from you.
I was going to say that I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing to make assumptions. I don't think it's fair for anybody to say like, oh, like don't make assumptions, or like whatever, you can't make assumptions. That's true. That's going to happen naturally. I think that acting on the assumptions or treating somebody based off of purely assumptions, that's an issue. But just making an assumption, leaving it at that, is not where the problem lies. It's treating people.
It's rather natural, right?
Yeah, it's natural. But for to treat somebody based off of purely assumption, or to take your assumption and spread it like it's fact, like that's a problem. But making the assumption is not the crime, and it's not avoidable. Like you can't just be like, oh, new year, new me, I'm not going to make any assumptions this year, because that's just not true. If you say you're not, then you're just lying. It's not.
We can't eliminate assumption from the equation. I think I'm just telling you, like Abigail, I've been in this personal professional growth game for a long time.
I
and that specific thing, validating assumptions rather than criticizing assumptions, right? It's almost like it's too easy to know the limitations of assumptions,
Mhm.
right? It's almost harder to forgive or allow or enable or make space for assumptions. But what I think is, and I want to know what you think about this. It's like, hey, I'll look, hey, make your assumptions right here, please. Let's get them out. Because once we label something, we can work with it. So if and when the assumptions are maybe incorrect or born out of emotional addiction or coming from a pattern or a habit or a need or you know what I mean, when the assumptions are coming from an unhealthy place, if we let people make them instead of saying no, you shouldn't assume, if we let people make assumptions, then we're actually creating an opportunity for people to put on the table what they need to work on. Right? What they need to, I think it's critical thinking. This shows up in the loving section, but to me, I keep coming back to critical thinking, not accepting information on face value, but asking questions. What else could be true? What else could be true? And back to the Klooby Snack. So was there anything about you that was vibrating with making accountability non-threatening when you wrote that line? I want to bring it back up.
Well, when I was writing it, I mean, from the beginning, I was talking about, I mean, it kind of just follows the storyline, how like I hated, and I always hated like the power that judgments have, and just like these statements like hold so much power with people can say anything, and like it's just automatically believed because nobody really went out of their way to question things. You hear something and you believe it because that's easier to do than it is to question it or figure out if it's true or really like to think critically about it at all. So that's what I was like. I've always been upset about that since like that's what I wrote my paper on like sophomore year about how these like preconceived notions that you have no control over somehow had so much control over you. So that's more what I was talking about. It wasn't really geared towards what you were talking about, but I mean, it can be used in multiple ways. Also, the line at the very end, where I'm on the wrong page. Where is it? Oh, the force that will always overpower judgments is curiosity, and that's what I think that wanting to know more and asking these questions to know more about somebody rather than just believing what you hear or see, whatever, going out of your way to ask more. That's the curiosity or the love or the vulnerability. That lies in the curiosity.
It's okay. I almost feel like apologizing to you that I didn't call attention to this line sooner, right? But like, you know what I mean? Right. I think we found 3 independent Klooby Snacks, right? And I just wanted to highlight this one. You're right. I'll say it out loud. The one force that will always. Did you choose all caps there?
Yes.
That's a dad thing, by the way. All caps and dots and trip. I'm sorry, I won't go there.
I would never do that.
You're about to dad me, I know. The one force that will always overpower judgments, however, is curiosity. And then as a standalone Klooby Snack, you can eliminate the comma, however, comma. Just, there it is. The one force that will always overpower judgments is curiosity. Yep. It's genius.
I know.
It's genius. All right. Okay. All right. So that where that leaves us with, ready, drum roll, please. Last call. All right. Last call. We've made it. Last call for comments, questions, anecdotes, sharing. Charlie, this is your last chance to say a word or two for tonight's Klooby Snack. Abigail, you're brilliant. You're absolutely brilliant. Charlie, what do you got? Anything?
Yeah, no, as usual, these Klooby Snacks just get your mind rolling. And it's always an honor to be here and to learn what Abby's perspective as the book is was intended to do, or unintentional, right? I'm looking at it at what would a young person reading a Klooby Snack, how would they interpret it? Because the mindsets in different age groups is different. We might understand it differently,
Yeah.
and they understand it differently. So, every time I read a chapter, I'm going like, wow, wait a minute. I remember this Klooby Snack when we discussed it with Coach Jeff, and it was nowhere near where we are now. So big ups, Abby. You did a splendid job in interpreting the Klooby Snacks from what they were meant to what what your thoughts were. And it's brilliant, brilliant. And it's 3 Klooby Snacks in one. Wow.
Well, I think there's 4 because there was the prompt and then at least 3. And by the way, I swear, if we read it again and took our time, I bet you we would find a 4th brilliant.
We'll pick up another one, yeah.
I mean, Abigail, it's they say all these things are cliche. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, blah, blah, blah. But back to the emotional side of this, like, I so deeply, deeply, deeply want you to have everything I've got and then go run with it. Just go and show me what we can really do. And I've got a lot of excitement, a lot of hope. Tonight's Klooby Snack is really neat example of the future of Klooby Snacks and insight into how brilliant you are. And it's just it's fascinating. I know exactly what we're doing every week. I set this whole thing up, but every week we get here and something that I didn't expect smacks me in the face, and it's just wonderful. It's one. I love you, Abby. I love you, Charlie. Thanks, everyone. Unless there's anything else from any. Abigail, do you have any last words for tonight?
Nope, I'm at like 3%. So.
All right, there it is. All right, happy Super Bowl Sunday around the world. If those of you that are following American culture, I had a joke earlier tonight that when we're not watching football, we're shooting each other. I don't know if it went over that well, but I want you to be safe, and I want you to love each other, and I want you to love yourselves, and I want you to tune in next week to Klooby Snacks. All right, Abigail,
Abigail, Coach Jeff, have a good one. Enjoy the game, guys.
All right, thanks, man. Later, Charlie.
Cheers.